Okay, Contour. Let's see if I can help you understand what I'm trying to say about this. Um, Here we've got a box, which is 480 pixels. Its X position is 480 pix, and the Y position is 95 pix. The width is 740 pix, and the height is 210 pix. So that everything's on whole pixels and at whole pixels. Similarly, the text, the X and Y origin positions are 500 and 110 whole pixels. This is text is Arial at 200 pixels. Sorry, just so we can see it at this zoom. Otherwise, we won't be able to show you what's going on. First thing to notice about that, just make sure I didn't move it. No, I didn't. Is that the width is 615.6, and the height is 185.3, which doesn't seem to match in whole pixels. Now, if I go along and just zoom into this end here, I've got this purple bar here, which is 3 pixels by 210, and I've got that exactly the same vertical bar, 3 pixels by 210. This one on the right is on whole pixels. This one on the left is offset, so it's let's make that 5, just 5 pixels. So they're exactly the same two lines. So I zoom back to previous, just test those, arrange, create bitmap copy, create. I'll just move this down a bit so you can see it. Not a lot changes, but there is slight difference, and the way to notice that is if you zoom in there. You can see that the one on the right is cleaner than the one on the left, and if we wind down to a setting of standard like that, you can see that this one on the right still maintains whole pixels without any anti-aliasing, whereas this one, which is exactly the same width, shows this anti-aliasing in the slightly lighter pink on both sides, because it's not on whole pixels. So let's zoom back out again. I'll delete that now. Just go back up here and put that back to there. And of course this is exactly what's happening with your text. Unless everything is in whole pixels, it's not going to help at all. So even if you say were to go, page into shapes, into shapes here, just everything again is on whole pixels. If you go arrange, convert to editable shapes, arrange, ungroup, which you always have to do with that. You've now got this text here, which is 500 by 500 and 1110 X and Y. Look at the E, that's 602 and 147.1. So you'd think, okay, if you move that up to 2 and you move that up to a whole pixel 1, that would be better. But the problem is, even though it's on whole pixels, look at the width, it's 95.6 and 10.8. I'll colour that one purple and just go like that. Arrange, create bitmap copy, create, move this down, move that down, drop down the level to 3, zoom in, whoops. You can see that you've got to have the anti-aliasing. You can't get rid of the anti-aliasing on the T. Let's move across a bit. You can see that there's anti-aliasing gone on that end because that isn't a whole pixel that length. There's anti-aliasing gone on the downward bar of the T. It's got this slight grey, light grey colour this side and a bit of a darker grey colour that side, and that's got to happen all the time. So the only way you're ever going to stop that, as I say, is to use pixel perfect sizes with a text that's designed to be exactly the same pixels. One further thing, if you just look at this T, and I'm going to just take that out, shift select that one, control +4, which is arrange combine shapes in slice. So I've now sliced that and it's blue. I'm not worried about the width, but if you look at the height of that is 16.9. So that's going to create anti-aliasing. Similarly, if I go over to this one, Control 4, slice shapes, go green, the width of that is 18.9. So even if you were going to put each individual letter on starting point, you'd have to then not only put it in the origin point, you'd have to change the width and the height, and you'd have to change the size of these uprights and across to whole pixels. It's just impossible. You can't do it. Anyway, I know it's a bit of a mumble and a humble, but I hope that helped. This is Egg. All the best. Cheers. Goodbye.